Hello, my name is Blanca Jauregui and today is Sunday, February 4th, 2018. I am doing part 2 of my lab, which is the video portion obviously, and this is the overview of the skeletal system. I'll be discussing the bones that are part of the axial skeletal as well as appendicular. And so my tools for this lab are my manual. I just have it here as a resource. I have a few notes on my flashcards, and then I just want to introduce my skeleton, which is what I'll be using to demonstrate, where these bones that I'm going to mention are located at. So first I'd like to mention that there are 4 types of bones in our body. There's the flat bones. So the flat bones, basically they have a greater surface area than other bones. And then obviously they're going to be more, they're going to look more flat. Then we have the long bones, which have, they're longer with not, their width isn't that wide, but they are longer. The shorter bones would be the opposite of that. So the short bones are pretty much equal in length and width. And then the other bone we have is the irregular bone. So irregular bones are usually bones that are, they're more complex. They have ridges, notches. And their shapes are distinct basically. So let's start off with mentioning or pointing out a few on our skeletal model here. So I'll start off with the flat bones. So we have an example here of the flat bone, which is the temporal bone. This is the bone where a lot of us start to have gray hair at the beginning of our aging process. And obviously we can see that there's a lot of surface area here. Another flat bone would be the scapula, which this bone does have irregular characteristics, but it is a flat bone. So this is considered a flat bone, and this is again the scapula. I do want to mention another bone here. The ribs here, or the costal cartilages, they're long bones, but they're also flat. So they are both. Then we have, and then we can go into the example of the long bone. Here we have a long bone that obviously it's not so wide, but it is long. And just so you guys know, long bones don't necessarily have to be extremely long. The phalanges here are also long bones. So it's about their length, not so much their size. This is another long bone here, the femur. And now I want to discuss an irregular bone. So an irregular bone would be something like this here, the vertebrae. This is the vertebrae. We start off with the cervical bones, which are 7. And then we go into the thoracic bones, which are 12. And then we go into the lumbar, which are 5. This is also an irregular bone. And I can't remember the name of it right now, but I'll come back to it. So I do want to also mention the short bones, which are these here. These are the carpals of the hand. They are short. They are divided. These do have individual names. We divide them into the proximal and the distal bones here. The other short bones would be the tarsals here. Again, these are also divided and they all have different names as well. So again, some of these bones do have, some characteristics of the other. But for the most part, that's what you'll find in our body. You'll find a flat bone, a short bone, a long bone, or an irregular bone. And that's it. Thank you for joining me.